This video is sponsored by our Patreon. Link is on screen and in the description below. Rock Paper Pencil is the latest product from Astropad, makers of the iPad app bearing their name and a handful of other art-focused iPad accessories. This time, it's their take on a screen protector mimicking the feel of paper, but with a key difference. Unlike other screen protectors, this one is attached magnetically and designed to be removed when not in use. It's also bundled with a pair of Astropad's own tips for the Apple Pencil, with the two designed to be used in concert. For me, this is an incredibly compelling product, so much so that I ordered it almost immediately upon receiving their announcement email. I've always been interested in Paperlike and other similar screen protectors designed to make drawing and writing on an iPad more tactile, but the permanent nature of them has kept me from buying in, both because I don't love how textured screen protectors feel on my hands, and because they can introduce color shifts in your screen. Rock Paper Pencil, RPP from here on, solved this for me. Not necessarily because it doesn't suffer from those issues as well, spoiler, I still don't like how it feels on my hands, but because it's removable. I get all the benefits when working on a drawing, and then none of the downsides as soon as I'm done. I don't know about you, but giving me the benefits of a product while functionally taking away the downsides is a pretty compelling pitch in my mind. So what's it actually like to use? It's going to sound like I'm exaggerating, but it's paradigm changing. Drawing and painting on my iPad Pro has been an important part of my creative process since the release of the first generation iPad Pro. From quick concept sketches to more involved, fully fleshed out paintings, more akin to what I would do with traditional mediums, it's something I spend a fair amount of time doing. However, it's always been a flawed experience in comparison to sketching with pen and paper or painting with an actual brush in my hand. The Apple Pencil is a great tool, but its plastic tip on the glass screen of an iPad is incredibly slick and hard to control compared to traditional mediums. Also, more subjective and less impactful to the final result, I just like the sensation of drawing with a nice pen or a freshly sharpened pencil on nice paper. It's one of the intangibles that adds to my enjoyment of the creative process. I can now get a version of that same experience on my iPad using my regular process. The increase in precision was immediately apparent. I can keep my hand more relaxed while still maintaining a higher level of control than I could before, which means less hand fatigue over time and more consistent marks being made. It really is much more like using a pencil on paper. If you've ever found yourself drawing worse or more messily digitally than compared to traditionally, this is the kind of product that can be very helpful. Although in fairness, much of this praise would also apply to any other paper textured screen protector. What isn't applicable to other screen protectors is the removable nature of this one. There's a magnetic strip along the top and bottom edge of the screen protector that hold it firmly in place on an iPad while still allowing it to easily be removed when you're done working, or even just to reposition it slightly, a benefit I've come to greatly appreciate. I think almost everyone has experienced the annoyance of improperly installing a screen protector and then having to, at best, pull it off and start over again, and at worst, get a replacement before also starting over again. Well, that's a thing of the past here. If your alignment is a little off, you can just try again, or even just nudge it slightly until it's in place. It's incredibly painless. Written out in this script, it doesn't seem like a huge difference, but in practice, it's much faster. Astropad recommends cleaning your screen before attaching the screen protector, and if you want to keep to best practices, that is what you should do. However, in my use, I haven't found there to be a noticeable difference between cleaning my screen first and just slapping the protector on without bothering. That being said, if you skip that step and find yourself having issues, cleaning the screen is the first troubleshooting step I would try. It's not all sunshine and roses though. I touched on this earlier, but personally, I find the texture to be quite off-putting on my bare skin. I highly recommend using a drawing glove in combination with RPP. Then again, I'd also recommend doing that in general when drawing on an iPad or any other tablet for that matter, so it is a bit of a moot point. Similarly, the sound of the metal tip that Astropad made for the Apple Pencil on the screen protector wasn't very pleasant at first. However, that was already changing in my first half hour of using the two together and seems to have gone away entirely by now. So something to be aware of, but probably not a deal breaker unless you're particularly sensitive to sounds. Finally, I definitely wouldn't use the pencil tip this comes with on my screen without the protector. It's a metal tip set into the tip of an Apple Pencil, which is great for durability on a textured screen protector and gives you a more unobstructed view of the screen than the stock pencil tip, but I would be worried about damaging the glass if I used it on it bare. There's also a potential downside when it comes to case compatibility. If you have a case on your iPad that has a ridge around the screen, that can encroach on the edges of the screen protector just enough to make it not fit perfectly. As an example, I have an Urban Armor Gear Metropolis case on my iPad, and if I'm not careful about how I install the screen protector, it can sit a little unevenly and bubble slightly in places. Personally, it's not a big enough issue to inconvenience me, especially given the other benefits of the screen protector. And when it happens, I just ignore it or adjust things slightly. But it is something to be aware of, especially if you have a more substantial case than I do. If you go in for a more low-profile case or no case at all, you should be totally fine. In our initial concept meeting for this product, I was incredibly high on it and all but called it a mandatory purchase for drawing on iPad. Broadly, this is an opinion I still hold. However, there is an important difference between now and when I bought it that affects that stance and does force me to lessen my enthusiasm somewhat. When I bought mine, the price was $31.99, which I was happy to pay. The price has since increased to $44.99, which I still think is fair and would pay if I needed to get another one. But it does change it from almost being a no-brainer to something that I would probably recommend more to someone who's already serious about digital art, rather than someone just experimenting with it, looking for a good additional accessory to buy. Thank you for watching. Support independent creators like us at the link down below.